strength and flexibility harmonizer.
Yeah, I definitely felt something different.
This is the Vitalizer.
In the App Store on any smartphone, a simple download that will embed specific frequencies and vibrations into your phone's light photons and sound waves. Calibrations designed to affect taste.
The Vitalizer one is better than the other one, for sure.
Hydration, absorption,
Feel silkier.
and perhaps most incredibly, your strength, flexibility, and energy. Amazing.
Wow. Crazy. Well, salud. I'm loving it.
Go to www.vitalizerapp.com and make your smartphone brilliant.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Hi, this is Faith. Welcome to the Faith Washington Show. We will discuss life, business, leadership, family, and fun, and what happens when your view of the world expands. A wide variety of guests will provide insight on how they do business, family, and leadership in their lives. So now, here's today's show. Hey, Brandy, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
You can hear me? Yeah, I can hear you. Do me a favor. Take your camera and bring it so that your head is a little bit... There, perfect. Oh, no, up a little more. Up. There, right there. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Hey, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. This is the Faith Washington Show. We are live on Facebook, Periscope, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and the iHeartRadio app, WWNN. I'm your hostess, Faith Washington. Tonight, I have a really amazing guest, and she is in Texas, so we're actually doing a remote. And her name is Brandy Patterson. Folks, Brandy's got one of the most amazing stories. She is, as you can see, absolutely stunningly gorgeous, and she is lovely inside and out. And she's actually been an entrepreneur for many, many years. She dropped out of high school. She was married at age 14. She's been working since she was 14. She is an author of a book known as Sins of the Father. You can go to Amazon.com and purchase that. She owns a company called B. Patterson, Inc. And I'm going to let her tell you a little bit more about herself, but she's an amazing lady, and I'm so grateful that she is here on the show with us tonight. Brandy, tell us a little bit about your business. Give us a snapshot.
Well, snapshot would be that we ship cars all over the United States. It's a very specialized niche. So you have to really know what you're doing in order to keep everybody happy. It's a very fast-paced niche.
And demanding. So, your clients are demanding, aren't they?
Very demanding. Very demanding. You have to be able to just kind of roll with it.
Right. And what did you do prior to shipping cars? What was your profession?
So prior to shipping vehicles, I was in the interior design business. So, I went from one extreme to another.
Which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was. But it's been a joy. I love challenges. So this is it's a daily challenge doing the niche that we do. So it's been a blessing.
Yeah, absolutely. And you actually worked with a gentleman entrepreneur that I had on here several months ago, Jeffrey Scott Roach of Brooks Training Solutions, and he was on the show and he recommended highly, hey, listen, you need to speak to Brandy, and we did and hit it off right away. And it's pretty amazing that you have built a multi-million-dollar company from shipping these cars. And I love her motto, and her motto is refuse to listen to anyone telling you what you can or cannot do. How'd you come up with that?
I think life circumstances can either make you or break you. And I refuse to allow anybody to dictate that, any of your past troubles or, struggles you've gone through in life actually define who you are. You're defined by how you persevere through it. And so, I think just life alone has taught me that. And I love passing it on to other people because, there's hope in, and there's always someone out there to inspire you. And just because you weren't that person that did the ABCs to school and college doesn't mean that you can't be a self-made person. And so I think that's just kind of how I came up with it, life experience.
And you know something? I know that some of the most successful people in the world are people that never finished high school. I hate to say that, but we are living in the greatest time there is for entrepreneurship. We are living at a time where, you know something, not everybody is going to go to college, graduate, and have this giant successful career. And I think with the internet and the ability to drop ship things and create your own online businesses, there's so much available to those folks, all of us, whether you're well educated or not, but that availability to do businesses that are going to create an income stream for your family that you can shift and change and do whatever you like. You can live the dream and do what you enjoy instead of going to a job that you detest. If you hate something, you shouldn't be doing it. It's a very bad idea. It makes you miserable.
Yeah.
You know what? I wanted to go over shipping cars across the U.S. What do you love about that business that you have created? What are the things that you love? I know you told me that we love a challenge. Obviously, you and I both do, but it's also, what are some other pointers to that you enjoy?
I love dealing with my clients. I mean, they're some of the most grounded people in the world, and they have expectations, but they're also very encouraging. And some of my biggest clients have been the mentors to me. The Dina Wyckoffs out there that have taught me literally what I should expect, just things that you would never know. I've been taught, and it's because these guys are just it almost becomes like a family.
Yeah, that's that. And what do we call that? We spoke about that, the relationship and trust building for every business.
All about it. Yeah, it's all about being able to communicate with someone and keeping them informed before they have to call you and ask you, what's going on.
Right.
It's
or your team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I've got a great team. I mean,
Yes.
That truly makes my company so successful because my team is amazing. And, you can't find a good team sometimes. And we just enjoy and love working with each other. And all of my clients love working with my team because we try to be proactive. We stay on top of things. We keep them informed. And so that's, it's a great business. It's challenging, but when you get to deal with such awesome clients, it really makes it much easier.
And that's the fulfilling and rewarding part. So every day you may have challenges, but because of your clients and because of your team, which you've created both, you've drawn in the clients because of who you're being, and then you have a team that is drawn to you and they work harder because they trust you and they know that you're always going to do the right thing. And that says a lot about a boss, about an owner, about someone who's really kind of taking care of them, because that's people find that very important.
Well, to me, at the end of the day, it's all about integrity.
Yes.
And if you can hold your word, doesn't matter if it's with your team, your family, your clients, integrity is the most important thing to me. And I think if you can hold that integrity, then you're going to be successful in anything you do in life.
Agreed.
Sure.
Agreed. As long as you're doing the right thing, even when no one is looking, it makes all the difference in the world. And I agree with that. And any business that you do. I found that when I worked as a pharmacist, you just do the right thing no matter what. You don't cut corners. You don't short people. You don't do things that you would never want someone else to know. It's not okay. And your clients come first. You know what? Customer service is job one. That's where we shine. That's where you rise to the top and you become the best there is at what you do.
It's true. It's true. And the best thing about this business is, 95% of my clients I've never met. But it's that service you provide. When you provide that service, you continue to build relationships, and it's, at the end of the day, it's rewarding.
So you're saying that most of the people you deal with on the phone.
I do. I mean, that is literally 99.9% of my business. I've
That's
maybe
huge.
met
Oh my
out
goodness.
of
Oh my
thousands of
goodness.
clients.
I never would have
out of
thought that it was
thousands
that
of clients.
high.
Yeah, no,
Wow.
it is. Out of that many clients, I've literally met a handful, thousands of clients. And, it's a relationship, but it's a relationship built over the phone because a lot of your clients are in different states.
And that says a lot about your ability to communicate over the phone and to communicate the caring, the concern, the points of, all right, well, I've got to educate you, which we spoke about this too, educating them, hey, listen, there's just been a hurricane in Florida. Your car isn't going to get there in the next week, and it may cost you more. So, you have to convey the good news and the bad news. And obviously it works. They don't mind.
It does. They don't always like it.
Right.
But it's like you said, you got to educate them. I mean, sometimes these guys are all about just, buying the vehicle and getting it sold.
Right.
And when you have a catastrophe like we had in Houston or Florida area,
Yes,
those
both.
things halt. The demand halts, the prices change. And so you have to really be proactive and educate your clients and let them know, hey, this is what's going on and this is why it's going on. And
Right.
as soon as this passes, we'll get back to the normal routine again.
Right.
And
How
I think
does
they
your team
appreciate
deal with that, Brandy? How does your team deal with those kind of special circumstances that are out of everyone's control?
They're honest. That's all you can do. All you can do is just say, hey, it is what it is. This is how we're going to handle it. And literally, you have to be honest with your clients. And we tell them, look, we don't want to lose your business. But at the same time, if you guys want to keep us, just hang tight. It's gonna get better. It's just, you can't control Mother Nature.
Nope.
And so my guys are always proactive about telling them, hey, the rates are fixing to change. We knew when that hurricane hit in Houston,
Yeah, that was bad.
the carry capacity was going to change. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
Devastating.
my sister lives there, so it was nothing but water. I mean, the water was coming up to their door. It was like covering everything. So I can't imagine
and
it too much
Texans
moved.
are strong. Yeah, Texans are resilient. And
Yeah, we love that.
I
I love
love-
Texas. It's
I
big.
love it too. I know it's big. It's big, and we're tough people. So it was nice to see the resilience. These people are just amazing, and so you just have to tell your clients this is what's going on. And they're compassionate. They see the same thing we see
Right.
going on, and so they understand. They get it. So it's just communication.
I totally agree with that. And like I said, you've become a master at that. So that's why your clients come back again and again, and your team stays, and you have almost no turnover because that mastery of communication builds that trust and relationship on vendor, buyer, team. And that's really the whole point of doing what you do and the way you do it. Now, I also know that we spoke about something that you have made sure is occurring from the very beginning, and that is you are very proactive with your systems and your processes, which every business needs to have. But I think that sometimes people don't have that vision as the owner or founder, what have you. They don't put those things into place, and you did. And I mean, talk to me about that. Give us some information for your, the perspective on your type of business, how important that is.
Well, I mean, you may be shipping 1,000 cars a week, and
That's a lot.
Tomorrow, we ship up to 60,000 cars a year.
Wow.
So, tomorrow you may have a new client that's got an extra 10,000 a year or a week or whatever
Right.
that you're shipping. You always have to be ready for that. And to me, the way you're ready for it is you just kind of put in your head, how am I going to prepare for this? How are we going
Yes.
to train additional staff? How are we going to communicate better with our clients when this happens? So the control freak in me is always going, I have to, I know, right? I have to be ready for this. Because,
No, you're not a control freak, are you?
I'm not really. I don't have any issues with that at all. So, yeah, but
I can relate.
That's a good thing.
It is a good
thing, though, right? You know, so it gets me in trouble sometimes, but for the most part, it's a good thing. So, I'm always thinking ahead.
Right.
You know, how are we going to grow? If we grow, what direction are we going to grow? If we don't know the growth is there, we want to make sure we've got some backup for it, because I don't want to lose that opportunity.
Right, and we spoke about that before the show, about going from X to Z. You're growing. It's like suddenly someone calls you and says, "Hey, I got another 30,000 cars for you," and you're thinking, "Wow, if you hadn't prepared for something like that with, as you said, the backup, you would lose that opportunity." And that could be like growing your business 2, 4, maybe 10 times what you were already at. I mean, I can't imagine how you did in the beginning when this was probably happening every
It was
other
a hot
week.
mess. Hot mess is the best word for it, because I was working 2:00 in the morning, you know, had no staff,
Wow.
learning a lot, because this business, I knew nothing about it.
Right.
And so I was fortunate. I had my dealer, Rusty Wallace, he's a local dealer here, and he's literally one of those guys that was like, let me tell you how you need to do this.
Isn't he a race car driver?
He's not. A lot of people ask me that
I always
question.
ask that because
After-
I thought that.
Yeah, he actually likes to watch Rusty Wallace race, but he's not the race car driver. But that is the number one question people ask me whenever I mention his name, because you know, it's associated with a race car driver. But
Right.
I was fortunate enough to have those kind of people have the patience to kind of guide me.
Right.
And so, you know, my biggest thing is just, if we were to get a client tomorrow and says, I have 10,000 cars, and I've told you this, is that I never want to overpromise and underproduce. And
Right.
so if it's something I don't feel like I'm capable of doing, I'm going to let them know. And I think at the end of the day, they respect that, and they want to work with you
Yes.
even more.
Even
because
more.
you were honest
Yeah.
about it.
And
Yeah.
you know what? I
Yeah.
think they want to work with you more too when you want to hear their mentoring. You want to hear the wisdom of someone who's been here, here, and here, and maybe you're really not clear. Like, I'm always willing to listen to advice or constructive criticism from peeps that I know are many levels above me. I'm like, yeah, tell me quick. And you take it in, and then they feel valuable to you. So once again, that's part of that trust cycle that we build in business. That just escalates and amplifies what it is that we really choose to do. So,
It does.
hats
And
off
there's
to
a
you.
respect there.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, I really can't tell, my business clients that enough. If you don't build that trust and take the time to have conversations with people, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're missing out. You're missing out on business. You're simply not. You're just not providing them with what they really need. So, like I said, we spoke about your biggest challenge being growing the business from X to Z. And it looks like you've really done that pretty seamlessly. I mean, I'm sure internally, I see the look on your face. Internally, you were probably
Did
like,
you see this? Just the look on my face, like, oh no, yeah. But
that's good. That's
It's been
good.
a
I mean, that stretching is incredibly important. And I think that, the commitment and giving your word to get the job done, it just goes with anything that we do. We have to commit to ourselves first and then commit to others.
absolutely, at the end of the day, if you don't have your word, you don't have anything.
You're right.
And so I've always said that. If you give someone your word, you need to hold to it. And so it's so important, so important.
What would you say, if you had to give a percentage, how important that is to your business or anyone's business for that matter? Because we're talking to entrepreneurs.
It at the end of the day, it's everything to me. because people are relying on you to inform them, give them information, and but they're always usually reporting to someone else. So if you're giving someone your word and you don't follow through with it, it's just that trickle effect of, you told them something, they told someone else something, and it doesn't happen. And so you're disappointing a lot of people.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, it's so important to make sure you follow through with that.
Yeah, something that brings us to that part of who we are, and everybody gets to make the choice, but you and I both love God, and He's our foundation. And I think that has a lot to do with our ability and choosing to follow through and keep our word. I mean, there's certain circumstances or instances when that just isn't possible, but those are very, very, very rare and far between. But how do you feel about that? How does that play a part in your business overall?
Well, overall, growing up, not having that foundation.
Yeah, me
and then
either.
Having that foundation, and then having that foundation, you kind of get the best of both worlds, and I say that in a way of saying you understand both sides.
Yeah.
And then not
empathy.
having it, and then exactly. And then when you have it, man, you realize how much easier it is making that a part of your core foundation. I mean, at the end of the day, He's going to be the one that's going to get you through it, regardless. Yep. And you surround yourself with the people that have like minds and loving just like you do, and it just makes things so much easier because I'm not who I am today without Him.
Agreed.
That's all there is to it.
Same here. And I think that because we are truly the composite or the average of the top 5 people that we hang out with, that says a lot. It's very important to surround ourselves with those strong-minded people who are uncompromising in their integrity and that we won't compromise for, because even our integrity uplifts them. Maybe we're not at the level they are in business, but just surrounding yourself with that is so critically important. And yeah, go ahead.
It's amazing that you don't realize sometimes they see something in you that you don't even see in yourself.
Yeah.
And when you give that opportunity, you open yourself up to that, the sky's the limit. You learn so
Agreed.
much, you grow. And so it's a blessing. It really is a blessing.
And you become that unstoppable person because you've not only got you've got the spiritual foundation, but you also have the emotional support from people who feel the same way or who are like-minded or similar-minded. Even the people who aren't like-minded respect that. They respect your word. They respect that you have a foundation, and that I always say to people, you know what? If you stand for nothing, you will fall for anything. I truly know that's a fact.
I agree. And I think for you and I, when you come from the background we came from,
yes, very difficult.
To where we are today spiritually,
right.
It is. But then it also allows those people that aren't on the same spiritual track you are to actually be able to relate to you more because you've been there. You've been on the other side. Yeah. And you're less likely to judge.
I never judge.
You're more likely. I don't either.
There's no reason to.
It's simply not my job.
Listen,
yeah, exactly.
Every day I wake up, I screw up somehow. How can I possibly judge anyone else?
You can't. You can't. It's just not. It's not who we are. We shouldn't be that way anyway.
Agreed. You know what? And this brings us to something very, very cool. And you are the spokesperson and a staunch advocate for Hannah for Hope. You go around to schools and you speak about this. And I would love for you to give our audience what this is about, how it formed, and how you became a part of it. This is a big deal.
It is such a
Yeah, you guys are
it's
going to
such a
love
passion
this.
for me. Like, it's such a
We got about
passion
like
for
3,
me,
4
you know?
minutes.
I know. Okay, let me speed talk real quick. No, it's my daughter came home one day and said that she had lost someone. And fast forward, and she had told me how she had lost her. It was a friend that she died to suicide. Freshman in high school, beautiful.
And you
girl,
said
had
she
everything
passed
going
away
for her.
from suicide.
She committed suicide. She took her own life. And anyway, long story short, I had the opportunity, never knew her or her mother or her father, had the opportunity to meet her and realized real quick that I'd had 5 suicides in my family and never talked about it. And
5?
So, 5. And so
That's a lot.
You know, it was
Brandy,
it's
a lot.
Yes, it is a lot. And it was such a blessing because it allowed my child to open up to me, and it allowed me to learn and to really have that drive and that heart to go out and speak to kids and educate parents and educate everyone that these kids, they need the hope. They need hope of knowing that they're not alone, that they matter, and that they
Yes.
they have an out. They have an out. You know, if they can't go to their family members at home, which I couldn't, there's someone out there that's going to love them and not judge them. And that is our message. Our message is giving them tools to be able to navigate, identify, and navigate through certain situations, whether it's social media or bullying or, you know, grades. You know, I mean, whatever it is, these kids struggle with every day because it is so different from the way
Oh
we
my
grew up.
goodness.
It is just,
That's
It is
not
so
that's
different.
you know what, Brandy, that's an understatement. My daughter is 13 and in the midst of it, and I have to tell you something. It's a wonder that these kids make it through without going a little
Oh.
batty.
well, it makes me go batty watching what these kids go through, honestly.
Me too.
Because you just want to get up and not be so nice to some of these people.
Agreed. Give us a quick website that they can reach you at and your phone number, just quickly.
So you can go to suntechpts.com and then call us at 214-212-6516.
Awesome. Brandy, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll have to bring you back. We're going to talk some more about hannahforhope.com. Okay?
Thank
Folks,
you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight live on the Faith Washington Show. We are live on Facebook, Periscope, 95.3 FM, 1470 AM, and the iHeartRadio app, WWNN. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here again. Thanks. You've been listening and watching The Faith Washington Show, where we have widened your view of the world. Our guests share their business, family, and fun life hacks to make your world better. Hope you've learned something to apply to your life and business.
The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.